Rocked home early in the morning with a split in the head. Found my hunting mate Jack with me wife in bed. They were both bumping uglies, so they never saw me go. Grabbed me Swanee and me sheath knife, left in the truck, nice and slow. Single man, I'll be a single man. With the dogs on the back and me rifle in the rack, no tear did I shed as we drove on up the track. How you going there? I was in a studio, recording studio, many years ago, trying to sing this song. The song was Single Man. And I couldn't get it down. I'm a sort of A-type personality, I guess you could say, always a bit sped up, get too excited about things really, particularly fishing and hunting. Oh, a lot of things, but this particular day, I was trying to get the song down and it needed to be sung really slow. And a friend of mine, Hillary, she was a hypnotherapist. She said, why don't I get to your alter ego? Why don't I get right down to the part of you that's completely chill, the part that I know that doesn't really care too much about anything, never gets too stressed out. That part is inside you. The Swedish fire torch. Great. You can use it again, and again, and again. Now it's like a Swedish sauna. Woohoo! Right, so carry on. I think we've got it. I was a bit down there maybe. So, the song Single Man was a really long song. It was probably about, I don't know, 7 minutes, one of the first songs I ever recorded. And Hillary gets me and she's like, breathe deeply through your nose and imagine that all your fingers are like rubber bands and your toes are like rubber bands. Now imagine you're a leaf floating on a river, down this river, just relax. And she took me further and further down. I don't know how hypnosis works, but basically it gets to your subconscious mind. That's where everything goes on. And she said, you're now Clay Tall Stories. Very relaxed. And I went from talking like this to, yeah, g'day, how you going? Good to meet you. And everything slowed right down completely. I picked up that guitar and I tried all morning with absolute fury. And if you've ever heard the song Single Man on my Quarry Trees CD, you'll know. It's a bloody long song and I did it all in one take. Now in the studio you can take a break and you can add bits in and do bits out. But I did it all in one take, and I also did it on one take live, and you can find that on YouTube where it's from beginning to end with no mistakes. But I could only do that in that state of mind because my other mind, well, a part of my other mind would always be everywhere. So that's how Clay Tall Stories persona was born, was actually in a recording studio. It's a part of myself that I've since learned to access a lot when I get overexcited, and I do have a problem with getting overexcited, particularly with things like opening presents, fishing, hunting. I'm shocking at hunting. I redline the excitement in me to the point that I've got to go into that alter ego of myself, and it works really well. I was in the town of St. Ingbert in the early hours of the morning in 1991 going down a side street, and there was a blonde woman brushing her hair, and it was about 5 AM in the morning. We'd just been to the bakery to get some food. We were still going home. We were drunk as, bro. And this woman was like brushing her hair, and we all stopped, looked up at her at the window, and she was almost like topless, or you could see full bosom. She might have had a bra on, and I remember these big boobs and this blonde hair, and her smiling, and she goes, "Hello." We're all looking it up like that, and she almost goes, "Fuck me, man, I'd eat fucking chips out of her knickers." And Biddy's like, I'd marry her, man. And I'm like, well, don't think it's going to happen, lads. And she's like smiling at us and she's flirting with us, and we're like 2 stories down, and she knows that we can't possibly get to her, so she's taunting us. And then she says something in German, and none of us understand German except I think it's Niall, the other guy's name. I might have it wrong, but he's like, she just said if we can get up there we could have her. So I said, can you explain that in English, please? She said, if you can come to me, you can have me, ha 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 ha. I'm like, fuck yeah. Well, Seamus was the first one to try to get up the building, and he didn't get far at all. He just went up and there was a bit of a trellis and stuff, and he just fell down on his back and pulled half of it down with him. And then Biddy, who was absolutely drunk as a skunk, he tries going up the drain pipe part, and he pulls part of that off there and comes down, and he doesn't get up. I don't think Niall even attempted, the other guy, but I thought, I'm going to have a crack at this, and I was watching where everybody else was going up the wall, and I noticed on the other side there was also a trellis, but it had no plants on it, and it was like a mesh thing, and then it had some places you could possibly step on. I thought, if I can get to there, I can get to the top part and the balcony. I'll be able to pull up to the balcony and get on into her room. So I gave this a crack, and it was going bloody good. And when I got past the actual bit where the trellis was, and had to sort of go around the side of the wall up to the balcony, Biddy yells out, "Fuck man, would you look at that? He goes up the wall like a little spider." And that's how the name Spider stuck. Needless to say, I got up to her. When I got up there, I actually got to the room. She was horrified to see me, absolutely horrified that I made it. I got into the room, and then I heard this guy coming, and there was actually a man who was asleep in the next room, and it turned out to be a great big tall black guy. And I just hoofed it right through the building, got into her front door, went down the stairs and back out onto the street, and never got the spoils of my climbing. And that's how the name Spider stuck. And for 13 years, from 1991 to 2005 was my last tour. I did my last tour then. I played 3,159 shows in Europe, mostly in Germany, under the name of Spider, travelling around. And it was an amazing time in my life. Very hedonistic though. Lots of alcohol, lots of drugs, lots of sex, lots of rock and roll. And I was pretty much... in my own mind I'd made it, but of course I hadn't made it at all. I was just another person trying to fulfill find all the pleasures of life. And of course, as you guys know, a life in pursuit of pleasure leads to basically a life in the end of, it's not fulfilling. That hedonistic life leads to nothing. So I came back to New Zealand to raise my children. I'd met my son's mother in the island of Crete, was playing in a bar in Starlitis there, a little Irish bar. And the second year I met her, she was actually pregnant with another man's child. Well, I raised him to be my own. It's Yona. And then we came to New Zealand, where she conceived my daughter Dayla. And later on I became a sperm donor for another woman, and that was my daughter Hannah, but I didn't raise her. When I came back here, it was like, oh well, what am I going to do for a living now? I made great money in Europe playing music, but over here it was just about impossible. I did the best I could do, and I played gigs here and there and weddings. I did okay, and I had a job teaching music for about 6 years, going around all the schools. I was just starting to make some quite good money and get on top of things with the teaching and the live gigs, and I had a hunting accident and I tore my shoulder on the side here badly, and today it's still, I can't do a concert anymore, a full concert, and that spelt the end of my music career as being a solo entertainer. So I thought long and hard about it, and I thought, well, maybe I'll give this YouTube thing a bash. So my YouTube channel's been going since 2000, I think it's 2006 or 2007. It's been going a long time. It was before YouTube was even a big thing. All the sort of big names you know today in New Zealand, the guys that are in the hunting and fishing and all those channels, didn't actually have YouTube channels back there. If you look on the date of my channel, I think you'll find it's either 2005 or 2007. I know it was a long time. And I tried making videos for a while. I made some funny ones, and I was like, I had this channel, and I called it Troubadour Hunter, because I thought I'm a musician, a troubadour, and I'm a hunter. And the name didn't really stick, and the channel didn't really go anywhere. And I damaged my arm, and I couldn't play gigs. And I thought, well, maybe I'll try and make this into a professional channel I can make a living out of. But I need a better name. Well, the first dog that I went hunting with when I came back from Europe was a dog called Clay, and it belonged to a guy called Kieran. Good bastard, and I enjoyed hunting with Kieran, and so that was the idea. Clay was good, so I used the name Clay as a nom de plume on a lot of the hunting sites I belong to. And the Tall Stories, that gave me license to make up songs and stories about things that were not true, tall stories. And my first CD, which had the song Single Man, there was a bit of truth in every story, but of course they weren't 100% accurate, because they also created. So that gave me license, so I came up with that. Now my real name, when I was born, in 1964, the 12th of February in Nelson, my dad wanted to name me Chuck. He for some reason he liked the name Chuck. Maybe Chuck Norris was around then, or I don't know. My mum hated the name Chuck. She wouldn't have it. My father's name, his name is John. And so to appease my father, my mother said, well, why don't we call him your name, the middle name, John? And his name was Ward, and my mother's name was Drury. So of course she had his name, Ward. And she came up with the name Damon. So my name was Damon, my legal name, Damon John Ward, was what I grew up with. But I had so many nicknames for doing so many different things. No one ever called me that. And today my mother calls me that, and a few close friends, but all my real good mates actually just know me as Clay. And there goes the camera, nearly blew down the wind. Well caught. Yeah, all my good mates call me Clay, and I'm comfortable with that because it's what I've been called for so long. So that's how the name came, and I was going to make it so it didn't blow down. So I'm going to lose it in the wind. We need to pause and come back. I've got the toilet brush down here beside me, just sitting like a little faithful dog. I'm going to put the camera up here. We nearly lost it in the wind. So that's how I got the name and how we started the channel. Well, from then on, it didn't go that good. Things weren't great. I wasn't particularly good at filming, wasn't particularly good at editing, and I wasn't particularly good at talking to the camera. I must have seemed like a bit of a doofus, really. I was. And being uneducated, I didn't do a great job of it. And I made videos mostly about pig hunting and fishing. And they weren't particularly good videos, although some people today still like watching them. And after 3 years, I was going backwards to the tune of about $11,000 every year. I was enjoying doing it because I love making videos, but it wasn't working. And my dad said, son, you got to stop. You got to stop it. Yeah, I was broke. I was renting this place here, and I think I was in debt about $34,000 after 3 years. But yeah, this is failing. So this guy called Mike Prater, known as the Pom, he'd been following me, and he loved the channel, and he supported me a lot. And he said, hey, I want to help you. So he got on board, and I had at that stage 18,000 subscribers when he said, I'm going to create Patreon for you. So he did. And there's a handful of good bastards: Stu Drever, Darren H, Errol T, Richard Ware. Oh, look, I'm leaving people out. Simon, there was a whole lot. Scott Wilson, a whole lot of guys in the very early stages that Rick Oliver, who's now passed away. Ross Johnston, who's now passed away, the knife maker. A lot of really good people. And Selwyn, the fisherman, was incredible. He jumped on board from the beginning, and he was like, I had different tiers, and the highest tier was American $50, and Selwyn was paying that twice a month, so I was getting 100 American from him. So suddenly, from going broke and being in really bad debt because of all the production I'm making and no money coming in, suddenly it looked like I was going to get out of debt and the channel was going to start to work. And it's exactly what happened. Every week, this is before Patreon, every week, some of those guys had put money in. Every week, Richard had put $10 in my account. Every week, Errol T had. And I was just sort of hovering like this. But when that Patreon started, and straight away I got, like, in the first month, I got like 300 followers, and then it went right up, and it went right up to 900 followers. And in the last year, it's come down quite a bit because I've been a bit slow on it. But it saved the channel. So that's what gave me a pathway to create more videos and do something I love, take young guys out hunting and fishing and show people the homesteading side of life, which has been more the last year. Lockdown's been made things very difficult for stuff, and I've had a few health issues too. So that's how Clay Tall Stories was born, and the whole concept came around. When will I stop doing this? I'll stop doing it when it stops becoming fun, when I don't enjoy seeing the smiles on people's faces, when I stop enjoying creating. I love making content, and I love sharing little pieces of my life. Now, you guys that watch people like me and all the other YouTubers out there, most of you, particularly around my age, have got enough sort of nous to understand that we're just trying to work the algorithm. We're trying to do stuff that's going to feed the algorithm so we get views. And I was never good at this. It's taken me a long time to get it right. And those channels that did silly stuff like show the animal being killed, showed it being gutted, all the gory stuff like us pig hunters have we got put on restricted, and the channels like that never really going to take off. There's a few that have, but most of the time we won't. There's a lot of channels with a lot less content, and even content that's sort of quite mediocre, that do a lot better because they appease the gods of the algorithm, where they don't try to feed the advertising machine. Everything's tickety-boo. There's no swearing. There's a lot of things that they do, and I have never done that. And looking back, I probably should have thought more carefully about it, but it's been really easy to not try to be something that I'm not too. And everything that's been done has been done off the cuff. It's not like I've used a storyboard to plan something. It's a reality channel filmed in real time. Everything has been we're playing hunts, but we never know what's going to happen, and what you see is what you get, and that's not always good. The other thing with my channel, of course, too, is all the music that I use is all created myself, and I'll make up songs off the top. And I'll give you a very short example of that right now. I'll do a song that you've never heard before, and that's because I've never ever sung it before, and that's because I don't even know what I'm going to do. And I'll go through that process about how I make music. So the first thing, if I'm using a harmonica, I use this because it's just easy to carry around in the bush or out in the boat or here. Put it in my pocket. I could have brought my guitar out. I can play a lot of instruments, but this is an easy one. I could have brought the bass out and just gone do 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 and done something. But it's easier because I can create a rhythm on this. I can create a melody on this. I can make it sound like a train. I can make it sound like a dog. That's not a dog, it's a how, how, how. How, how, how. Didn't really sound like a dog. I can do a lot of things on this. It's very portable. It's only got 10 holes. 10 you suck and 10 you blow. So, this is the process of creating a song right now. And this is probably not going to be fantastic. I would never ever do this live normally in a one-shot video like this. This is one take. And it's difficult to do a video in one take because if you make a mistake, you've got to keep going. You can't stop. The only time I've had a pause today is when the camera was going to fall over. That wasn't me, that was a technical thing. But yourself to keep going, and that's all comes from flow. And to have that there, it's a little bit like running over rocks. You've always got to look 3 rocks ahead. You're skipping, but you're thinking about the next thing. And for the mind to do that, it's difficult. Try doing it sometime. Just try talking into your phone for, like, we've been going now for 20 minutes. Just try talking into your phone for 20 minutes without ums, without ahs, without the word you know all the time, and keeping a flow. It's really quite challenging to do that without making a mistake. And that there is about exercising that part of the brain. The same as with a song. So this, doing an improv right now. Okay, I'm going to pick a theme. Let's pick hunting, just for a change. I've got the rhythm, the foot, tapping. But I'm going to create a rhythm that I've never ever played on the harmonica before to make this more challenging and something uniquely different. We'll do it differently. That was blow, blow, suck, suck, blow. We'll do suck, suck, blow, blow, suck. It's known as the actual train rhythm, that one, I think. Got a chicken in the background. I like that better. Okay, now we try to get the melody. So I get a basic idea of the song. My timing's pretty loose here. I'm a little bit out because I'm still creating the idea in my head and thinking about the words as well. But here we go. When the tailgate drops, the bullshit stops. Way down a gully. ho. Ho, ho, ho. That's a very rough illustration of how I create a song. Now, if I was doing a hunting video, I might think about where I'm going to have the talking in the video, like me or the truck, the boys holding the camera up and saying what's going on. And I might have the scene where we go into the pig and catching it. So the first part, I just do the shuffle without any singing, because I don't want to have vocals over the top of me talking in the truck. So I would make a song specifically for that hunt scene. So we're in the truck driving along, and I'd have something while I'm talking, and I'd have a shuffle like. And that's going on as we're going through rough country, so it kind of fits. But if we're going through like a meandering type gully, going up the cob, and there's a river on the side and there's native bush, then I'd do something more sort of tranquil and not so fast, but it's still rhythmic as we're driving along. And I just take that same rhythm, but I'll slow it right down to this, like. So we're driving along the valley, let's say, that one there. Let's back up, let's go back to in the forestry, going through the truck. One of the boys has got out the GPS, pig's over there, and I'm talking, right, treat up, 525 metres. Now I'm into the part where I'm running, and it's bush, breaking through bush, going down to the pig, and I'm thinking about some stuff there. So I want to put maybe a vocal in, and I want to put maybe a melody in. Hound on, hound on. Do I hear a bell? 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And then we're going for the pig, flip it and stick it. That's how we finish off with the pig on the ground, and the boys will stand around shaking hands, and that's the music I'd create. Now that music is copyrighted by me. I mean, that means that I can't get a copyright strike on me, and no one can claim my video. If you create a video and you use somebody else's music, they can take all the content. So the big incentive for me to create music has always been that I don't get my content stolen from me, and it's served well. It's done well, but also it's created another form of revenue. And my biggest harmonica song was a song that was done in the last few seconds. I was in the studio there and I was doing my Quarry Tree CD, and I only had 8 songs. I thought, that's not enough. And so I came up with this song here, which has been probably the most streamed song and popular song on the harmonica. It starts off like this. Old dog, old dog, old dog, old dog, get up that hill, get up that hill, in the morning light, get up that hill, and so forth. Now that song there, it was done straight off the top, timing's pretty loose, vocals pretty rough, but that was a song that all the All Blacks were singing in the back of the truck when they were doing their tour, I think over in the UK. I think it was either Lem Squire or Tim Perry, or somebody sent me a little clip of it, and all the farm boys, that's good old Kiwi boys, all in the back. It wasn't Justin Bieber, or it was Gold Clay Tool Story. So when the All Blacks are singing your song, that's good. And the boys down in Lincoln, Tilford, still down there, still sing it, and in fact all around the country. My most streamed song is the song Toyota Land Cruiser, which is it's funny because the woman that managed me when I was doing music in Europe, she said, you're never going to sell music doing it like that. And she was right to an extent. But it's very uncommercial music, but it's what I enjoyed. And I think the thing is that People talk about being successful. To my mind, being successful is doing what you love to do every day. If you love doing something, it doesn't the money, if it sustains you and puts food on the table and keeps the wolf away from the door, that's all you need. It's waking up, loving doing what you're doing. That is success. There's no point in having a big boat parked in your driveway and big flash truck and you're miserable in your job. That's pointless, because you're going to die and we're all going to end up a pile of dust at the end of it. So my thinking, by doing what you love, that's key. And what you find is you get rid of the people you didn't really want to hang out with anyway, and you attract those that are like-minded, and they join you, and you join the fun in together, and you'll vibe a lot better. I had a real good mate of mine, I talked about him earlier, Ross Johnson. He offered to buy me a brand new boat when he was alive, a brand new boat. He'd sold his house, he had plenty of money. He said, Clay, I can't see you farting around in that old punt anymore. We need to get a decent boat. And for the life of me, I thought, well, first of all, he's my mate. I can't accept the offer because he's my mate and he's old, and I just couldn't accept. It wouldn't have sat right with me. But secondly, I'll have just as much fun in my dad's old kayak or the tinny that I bought for $1,000 rather than a new boat. Yes, I could go out a bit wider in a bigger boat, but we'll still have fun. So it's about what you make everything. And I know that a lot of people are attracted to the big shiny boat and the big shiny truck, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But for my thinking, keeping it simple often is less complicated, less worries. Because my old tin boat, it's tied up down at Mapua. I've got two there. I've got my other dinghy, which is there without a padlock. If someone steals it, they steal it. And the tin boat, if someone flogs it, well, it's... But if I had a big boat with lots of money tied up, I'd be like worried about it. I'd be like, oh, geez. And then you've got to service the motor and all that. Nah, so I like the kind of more simplistic approach with stuff. Not to saying one day I wouldn't own a big boat. Just not right now. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story of Clay Tall Stories. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you some laughs and a little bit of insight in how I came to be this YouTuber that I am. I'm not a big YouTuber. I don't get big views. My channel is pretty restricted, but I've got a hell of a lot of bloody good subscribers that really are helpful. My subscribers are what keeps the channel going, and my patrons are what keep me creating content. Without them, I couldn't keep creating it like this, because this is I've got to get everyone's going to make a living, and otherwise I've been back to teaching music again. I would make more money as a musician and as a teacher than I would as a YouTuber, but I wouldn't have half as much fun. Be good, can't be good, be careful, and we'll see you next video. See you later.
A single man with the dogs on the back and me rifle in the rack. No tear did I shed as we drove on up the track. The old hut was still standing as many a year before. The corrie roof needed mending. There were bullet holes in the door. So I got the billy boiled and I fixed myself a plan to live in those hills there, to stay a single man. Single man, single man, I'll be a single man. Without a wife to keep happy, or a job for to hold, a mortgage for to pay, or every day to be told that you can't stay out hunting and those dogs should be sold. Suddenly I thank me mate, for me life had turned to gold. Single man, I'll be a single man. Now good big dogs take time, as you know, and time was all I had. When I started out first, me pack was bloody sad. Ding, a trail barker, blew lazy on the find. Meg was fat and slow, and Rip was just well playing behind. Single man, I'll be a single man. As the days turned into weeks, the hounds grew strong. We hunted from early morn, the whole day long. Ding stopped trail yapping, Blue was always on the find. Meg grew lean and mean, Rip grew sharper all the time. Lived on game caught here and there, from goat to pig, from coon to hare. Ate native pigeon without a care, wild honey and grubs, and feasted on deer. The river blessed me with fish and watercress, the forest's berries, Mother Earth the rest. Every night me hounds cleaned up the bones, till by the fire that warmed our new home. Single man, I'll be a single man. Then one evening in a gully, as the sun was going down, I heard this dog a-bailing, an old familiar sound of a bloke I used to hunt with, then his gun discharged around. Now if you listen close, I'll tell you just how it all went down. I gathered up me dogs and I headed for the shack, when who should I run into but me old mate Jack. He had a smile on his face and a boar on his back. He suddenly looked 10 years older when I gave his face a smack. Single man, I'll be a single man. So the titty went pig and all down the slippery track. I said, hey, come on, old friend, I'll lend you a hand. Then with me left, another crack. Looking up at me with a broken nose, his eyes both turning black. He stood on shaky knee and I said, g'day, Jack. He said, slow down, mate, you can have your wife back. His blood run from his lip. I laughed, said, mate, you're giving me a heart attack. The best gift you ever gave me was shagging that old whore. Just for good measure, I gave the bastard one more. And up come me boot under poor Jack's jaw. He was spitting out teeth as I helped him from that forest floor. Single man, I'll be a single man. I picked up his gun and wild boar from the steep mountain track, saying, nor for money or for gold would I want the old life back. Now look at the state you're in. You're a bloody mess, Jack. I pulled him to his feet, dusted off his hat. Single man, I'll be a single man. Then we both started laughing till we could laugh no more. Got to the hut and boiled the billy like so many a time before. And Jack looked up at me and said, hey, I just fixed myself a plan to live in these here hills and to stay a single man. Single man, I'll be a single man. Now years gone by and the hounds are doing fine. The shack has a new door and Jack, well, he's a mate of mine. We hunt from early light all day long, with dog and knife. Nor for money or for gold will we trade our single life. And some days I thank Jack for bumping uglies with me wife. Single man, I'll be a single man. I'll be a single